Hello and welcome to another video tutorial. In this tutorial I will be showing you how to create a Father's Day mug. So go ahead and begin by deleting the default cube and scaling up the plane. Now I'm just going to apologize in advance. My normal mouse died. I think it has a short somewhere in the cable, so I am stuck using the touchpad on a laptop, which is a lot harder than it is with a normal mouse. So modeling will be a little bit difficult. Anyway, so let's go ahead and create a cylinder. And tab into edit mode and delete the top face. Next we're going to add a solidify modifier and give it some thickness. And that should be good. Right there. Okay. And then you can't apply modifiers in edit mode, so make sure you're not in edit mode and hit apply. Next, tab back into edit mode and create a loop cut right around the rim there. And then hit G and then Z. You can hold down Shift to give you more control. So there we go. I'm just going to bring that up level with the plane. So like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so this will be the main part of our mug. Really simple to create. And now I am going to select the vertice, or not the vertice, the edge. So make sure you're in edge select mode and then just right click on the edge and select the edge that is right on top of the red line, so the x-axis. And then hit Shift S and cursor to selected. There are two ways that we can create a handle here. One is using a cylinder and the other is using a cube. I think I get better results using the cube. When I use the cylinder, it tends to look more like a limp spaghetti noodle. So hit Shift A and import a cube. And then just drag that up a little bit. Right, like that. Maybe a little bit down. If you want to change the size, but don't want to change the width of the handle, you can hit S and then Shift Y. So the width will stay the same, and it will change along the Z and X axes only. And that's kind of helpful. So now go back into vertex mode. Another way you can change which selection mode you're in, if you hit Control Tab, you can get this mesh select mode menu to pop up, and that's kind of cool. Anyway, continuing on, just extrude and rotate. If your handle doesn't look very good at the end of this, don't worry. It just takes practice. Oops. All of my handles used to look really bad, and then I can't even guarantee that this one's going to look all that good. Just remember, extrude, and yeah, that's way too small. way too small. So that's a little better. Okay, let's try that again. No, I don't like it. If you don't get it right, just try it again. That's kind of the nice thing about working in a 3D workspace. You don't have to worry if you mess up. So kind of create the shape of an ear and just work it down. Okay, so down here, kind of changed planes a little bit. So just bring that up and boom. There we go. And now we're gonna fix this up a little bit. So see how it's kind of going inside of the mug? Well, that isn't so good. So what we're gonna do, just select these vertices and hit GX and then SX0, and that'll just make them flat. And I'm also going to do SZ0 just so that this little part here is flat. And now okay, that's looking good. Hit Control 1 to give it a subsurf, and now tab back into edit mode if you tabbed out. We're going to give it a few loop cuts. So like that. Gonna tighten up the top here, tighten up the inside like that, and there's that edge, and there we go. Nope. Yeah. Okay. So now just hit smooth shading, and I think we can go with an edge split. Yeah. Maybe turn this up one. Nah, don't like that. That's better. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay. I think I'm gonna throw in one more loop cut on the mug cup itself. And if we render that now, it looks pretty good. So now let's start setting up the actual scene. We have our main object here, so kind of hard to position the camera without a mouse, but it'll work. I forgot. Come on, Blender. Just a second. Sometimes my operating system likes to hide things and not give them back. There we go. Okay, so I forgot. On most computers, you just hit Control-Alt-0 and it will move the camera to the view. On my computer, that minimizes it, so I use Control-Alt-1, and that will work. So Ubuntu users, you know what I'm talking about. It's fairly easy to change. Just go under File and User Preferences, and it's somewhere in there. Okay, so there is our cup. I think we should round this handle out a little bit more. So just hit Control-Alt and then right click. Okay, and maybe not. Shift Alt. There we go. That's the one I wanted. And there, and there. And then just hit S and Y. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, even more for these insides, right there. And this will give us a bit more rounded handle. So it's still looking pretty good. Yeah, let's get working on the end results. Okay, I think we are ready to begin materials. So let's go over to the materials viewport and turn on render. There we go. And I'm going to delete the default lamp and insert a plane. And we're going to create, we're going to create a lamp using this plane. So give it a material and call it lamp. Change its type from a diffuse to an emission, and I'm going to scale it up a little bit and set that to 5. And I'm also going to make it a little bit warmer. And then for the world, I'm going to kind of give it a cooler, a blue. There we go. And now I'm going to duplicate our lamp and rotate it like that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good now. We can begin by making a ceramic material. So go select your cup and go get a new material. And I'm going to call this ceramic. And hit use nodes. And don't delete the diffuse node, we're still going to use that. Instead, give it a mix shader and a glossy shader. And plug that in like that. Okay, so now change the roughness down to a 0.02 and change the factor amount of our mix shader to 0.1. So that gives it a nice soft reflection. Well, it's actually a fairly hard reflection, but it isn't having a huge influence, so it looks good. It looks fine. So there's the basics for ceramic. Now we're going to actually create a second one and hit the little 2, and I'm going to call it number 1 because, or number 1 ceramic. And why I'm doing this is because if we were to leave it with just the ceramic and insert our image, which we will create later, it will also put the image on our handle, and that would just look weird. So now it's time to go create our texture. So I'm going to use Gimp. You're free to use anything you want, Photoshop, but Gimp is free, so I like it. So go ahead, create a new image, set it to 256 pixels by 256 pixels, and under advanced options, change it to 300 pixels per inch. And then that should be good. Okay. Now what we're going to do, get a font and set the font to serif and increase this, I believe 85 to 90 should work fine for what I want to do. So I'm probably going to go with 86 or 87. I like 87. Okay. And now I'm going to do, also make sure it's justified to the center. So I'm going to do number, hello. Number 1, dad. Okay. Now delete the background layer and right click on the image, and under the image part of the menu, go ahead and fit canvas to layer. That will just put everything in the middle. Okay, now one thing about Gimp 2.8 that's different about previous versions of Gimp, you can't just save it as a dot, whatever your file extension is. You have to export it. Saving it, you can only change it, or you can only save it as a .xcf. So to do this, hit Control E and go to wherever you're saving your stuff. So I've already created one. I'm just going to save over it. So same thing. Make sure it's a .jpeg, because I don't think Cycles does anything else. I know it doesn't do PNGs. So make sure it's JPEG, and then hit export, and in my case I have to replace it. You'll get this little window, and you don't really need anything else. So 90% quality is fine, and just hit export. So now there is an image off in the file system wherever we saved it, and it is waiting to be used as a texture. So first, before we do anything more with the texture, let's go and assign this material to the mug, the inner mug part. So hit Control L. Actually, it'd be faster, and let's just do that and assign. Right now it won't look any different because there aren't any differences. Just have it import a texture image into ceramic number 1, connect color to color. The mug should change colors because there isn't an image for it to show. Hit open, and where are we? There we go. Select that guy. Don't see anything. That's fine. So if you hit Shift A and texture coordinates, do UV. Actually, let's try generated first because we haven't set up anything for UV. You'll see that it comes out looking kind of crappy. You get this weird line thing going on here, and that's not what we want. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the UV editor right here, second one to the bottom, and I'm going to actually split this view and give us a rendered. Go into hit 1 to go into front mode, and go into orthographic mode by hitting the 5 on the numpad, and then select the whole thing and hit U, cylinder projection. Now I'm also going to hit this little semi-transparent cube thing because I don't like seeing through my stuff. It's just personal preference. So now select those inner vertices here where we want the image to appear, and scale that up. Maybe? Nah, don't need to do that. I'm gonna hop over back to our materials thing again and go into UV. If we look at that now, it looks pretty bad. I think Blender defaults it to UV wrapping, but it looks kind of funky and it's text all over the place and no one would make any sense of that, so we're going to fix that. So go back to your UV and find kind of the center one, and actually first select the two side vertices, hit Shift S, cursor to selected, and then hit B to select multiple items all the way to the middle, and then down here change the pivot point, or whatever it is, the pivot, to the 2D cursor, and then hit SX and just pull it across like drapes. We pretty much just have to, you'll see what I'm doing later in a moment. So just pull it across like that. So now it is a very small number 1. I should have left that center one there. And just pull it across. It doesn't really matter how small you make it, because now what we're going to do, pull these to the middle and hit put your cursor on the selected, select those two and those two, and scale them in on the X right about to the quarter of that box, and it will double in size. And if you want more, there we go, just keep going. So right about like that. So now that's looking pretty good. Now how to deal with the rest of the stuff. If you hit Control I and scale down all the way, very small. Just make sure it's in the white area, so right over there should be fine. It will clean everything up and it will look fine and dandy. Okay, so now let's get back over to our materials viewport. If you'll notice, this is a little bit off-centered. Not too much. Well, there is something we can do about it. Just select one of the vertices of the mug, hit Control L, and kind of rotate it a little bit. And that should be right on, depending on how much you rotate the mug itself. So there we go. That is looking pretty good. So now that's pretty close for rendering. One more thing, so that we can see the gloss and everything better, we're going to change the sampling for the viewer. In Blender 2.63.1.1, they actually moved where they put all the stuff for the integrator. If you notice, there is no integrator here, and when I first couldn't find it, I thought I was going crazy, but I'm not. Instead, they moved everything in there into sampling and light paths. So yeah, that's where it is now. So just change, whoa, that's high. There, I'll just set it to 80, and yeah, we can see that is looking better. So we have a pretty good gloss going on. The shine is not too much. It looks realistic. I think I want to change this lamp a little bit. I want to make it catch on the side here, not so much on the lip. Yeah, it's looking better. Nope, hiding it isn't going to help. Oops. And if you do notice it starting to peek through into our into the camera a little bit, you can just go over here and hit Ray Visibility and check camera, and it will just disappear. So I'm just changing up the scene a little bit to get it to where I want it. Actually, what I think we'll do, let's have 2 cups. That way we really know that they're the number 1. Or else it looks like a tourist shop. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now let's just fix up the table a little bit and call it a tutorial. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go over to cgtextures.com, CG Textures, and go to wood. Where is that? Wood. Fine wood. And I think fine wood number 10. That should be this guy. Yes, wood fine 10. Just save as. Just gonna put that there. So there we go. And now we're going to give that a material. So new, call it table. I have caps lock on. And now we're going to bring in a glossy and a mix. Set that to 0.7. And we're going to set glossy down to, or up to 0.3 actually. And and then we're going to bring in a new image. So not input, image texture, open. Okay, wood fine number 10, color. Hello. Ah, not under roughness, under color. There we go. And now, finally, input texture coordinates generated. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this guy around a little bit more over to the side. Okay. So that is looking pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any suggestions for new tutorials or comments or need help with something, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time.